Of CVP analysis. In the previous video, we looked out to derive the break-even point, the formula for break-even point in terms of units or output, whereby we said equals to fixed cost divided by selling price minus variable cost. This is the formula of the BEP. So, and we earlier said it refers to the point where the total cost equals to revenue. So this is the formula of BEP. Then another term we need to know in the second term is contribution. Contribution refers, what is contribution? Is the excess of the revenue over the variable costs. The excess of the total revenue over the variable costs. So this is the contribution. X total revenue minus variable cost. But there is also contribution per unit. How do you get contribution per unit? Contribution per unit equals to selling price minus variable cost per unit. Always distinguish between contribution itself and contribution per unit. Selling price, though we shall be using more of this selling price minus variable cost. So that is contribution. So another term you need to know after the contribution is the BEP in shilling. The BEP in shilling. We know very well that this one of BEP in units equals to fixed cost divided by selling price minus variable cost. So that one of shilling, BEP in shilling, equals to the BEP in units. BEP in units times the price per unit. BEP in shilling, this is the number of units times the selling price per unit. But alternatively, break-even point in shilling, it can be total fixed cost divided by the contribution margin divided by contribution to sales ratio. But what is contribution to sales ratio? Contribution refers to total contribution divided by sales, or contribution per unit, contribution to sales ratio, or it can be contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit. So in actual sense, I'm deriving contribution sales ratio. I'm saying it's the same as contribution divided by sales, or contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit. But we know very well that our contribution equals SP minus variable cost divided by what? The selling price. So this is the formula of contribution to sales ratio. So we've looked at the BEP in units, the BEP in shilling, the BEP in shilling. Now we are on contribution to sales ratio. Another formula that you need to know under CVP, another term. So this is the second term. So this is the third term. Now this is the fourth one. You need to know the margin of safety. Margin of safety is that region from which the business is safe, and it is given by a formula, and always the business is normally safe above the BEP point. The business is normally safe above the BEP point because that's when the business begins enjoying the profits. That's why we get margin of safety as total sales minus BEP sales. So that's how we get the margin of safety, the total sales So lastly, we have the relative margin of safety. Relative margin of safety. How do you get this? It is given by the formula margin of safety divided by total sales times 100. Relative margin of safety is given by margin of safety divided by total sales times 100. We can sum this up by making an illustration. Illustration, we can sum this one up. So assuming this is my, we can make an illustration. Assuming this is my output. This is my quantity, output, stock quantity. So this is the amount. So, under this we begin with the fixed costs. We say the fixed costs, for them, they are constant. They are either fixed costs or total fixed costs. That's why at any level of output, they are constant at all levels of output. They do not change. So we begin with the variable costs. So these are the total variable. So total variable costs are always, they don't begin, costs, these are total costs. Total costs equals to these total fixed costs plus total variable costs. So from here up here I get the fixed costs. From here up here I get the variable costs. Now the total is the total costs. So they are, variable costs are constant. So fixed costs represent this down region, the variable cost this one, then the total from here up to here represents the total cost. That's why I call this one total costs, or you can call it total variable costs, but put it in mind that it comes from here up where? Up to here. So those are the total variable costs. Why don't they begin from zero? You can never begin a business when you are not incurring any cost. It can't happen. In a real sense, at least you will be incurring some variable costs. Then we always have the revenue. This is the total revenue. For them, they begin from zero because businesses have that point when they are not earning. So this point now, when I said the total revenue are equal to the total costs, don't you see now? This is what we call the BEP. This is what we call the BEP point, the break-even point of a firm. The break, so this one which can represent the revenue, the total cost. So now this is the break-even point of what? Of the firm. Now BEP, below this, below the BEP, the business earns losses. Above the BEP, the business earns profits. And this area is what we call the margin of safety. Margin of safety. So that's it. The area is called margin of safety, BEP, the break-even point when the revenue equals total costs. So in our next video, we shall look at the practical calculations. Already subscribe to Learning Academic Solution for any of these tutorials. May God bless you.